All right. Good morning, Black family. What we're doing right now is we're doing lesson two for the course on African philosophy. Uh, you already know I I'm gonna have I'm gonna do my ad and all that, but this is it. This is lesson two. It's from pages 19. Yeah, so it's not too many pages. 19 to 26, 7 good pages. But we're gonna go into it. We're probably gonna stop right here, just to play my ad, cause I gotta still pay for these bills. But otherwise, this is gonna be a good program. It's lesson two of one of the best courses on African philosophy, and you're gonna see why. I'm your host, Onitaset Kumat, author of the Pro Black Compendium and the Book of Power, and of course, Zubiri in the Ruins of Ma'ah. I'm on KWAZ Radio, and we have sister programs or brother programs, really, with the Bitters Medicine podcast and the Harsh Reality podcast. So definitely check those out. But as far as this lesson is concerned, let's jump right into it. This is Marcus Garvey, Message to the People, and if you want this PDF, all you got to do is join the Discord. I mean, the easiest way would be to join the Discord, or one of the easiest way would be to join the Discord. You click on the link below, and make sure you subscribe and like. Gotta say that because I'm just doing these whenever I want, and if you like it, you'll be notified. I mean, there's gonna be some, you'll be notified. All right. I'm always trying to give you good quality products, and that's something that not a lot of people can say. So here we go. To lead suggests that you must have followers. I'm just gonna quickly go over that right now. In the PBC, we have a quote, similar to that, which is along the lines of, "If you do not have a leader without any followers, is only taking a walk." Like we have to remember that to lead suggests that you must have followers. That's the most instrumental part about being a leader, right? But listen, for others to follow you, you must be superior to them in the things that they must follow you for. And that's something that we tend to neglect. I'm actually considering making a podcast on what's called Pan-African Nationalists, right? And a Pan-African Nationalist is just somebody who, for lack of a better word, is like a fanatic of another individual, and so basically, you're a fanatic of somebody that you might not even be connected with. You get what I'm saying? You might not even literally follow, but you think you follow, based off of your own misconception of what it means to be a follower. But the reality is that oh wait, hold on a second. Hey Wanda, what's up? Let me just say Wanda morning. All right. Well, the reality is that you're not necessarily like you're not leadership quality in a sense. Like to be a leader, you must be superior. You must be superior in something, and that's really like what you as an African have to work toward, becoming superior in something. I mean, you might not like that language, but that's the language of the 20th century. The early 20th century, or even the middle of 20th century. But let's go. You must have superior ability in the particular. You must always be ahead by way of knowledge of all those you lead. The moment you fall down from the position of superior ability, you will automatically fail to lead, and you will have to follow others. Therefore, you must be ever vigilant in keeping ahead of those you lead by getting the latest and most correct information for which they are searching, because for it they are following you. People only respect leaders and follow them when there is something superior in them. Now this is something obviously right here. If you want the latest and most correct information, particularly on Pan-African nationalism, right? Then you come to my slew of literature. That's the latest and most correct information, right? So if you're looking to be a leader, like I already said, if you're looking to be a leader, or even as the rap goes, if you're trying to change the leaders or lead the changes, you know, uh, you got to get my books, because you're not gonna get the latest and most correct information elsewhere. You're just not, because this is the latest and most correct book. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep going. A leader must have personality. He must be clean cut in his appearance so as not to be criticized. Now, this is something I don't follow, but you know, that's why I ain't on camera. You know what I'm saying? A leader must have personality. He must be clean cut in his appearance so as not to be criticized. An untidy leader is always a failure. Let's delete this right here. All right. He must be neatly dressed, and his general appearance must be clean and presentable, because people are supposed to follow him in his manner, behavior, and his general conduct. Now, I mean, in reality, this reminds you of the Nation of Islam. You know, the Nation of Islam, they always clean cut, and you know that. They clean cut, they dress clean, they dress nice, you know, and that's something that you know, that's something to recall, you know. Now, this is interesting right here. A leader's hair should always be well kept. His teeth must also be in perfect order, for people will criticize him for his unkempt hair and his bad breath. Now, I never have to worry about no bad breath or unkempt hair, but I mean, or bad teeth, but you know, unkempt hair, I'm not gonna comment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna comment. I plead the fifth. You know, let's just say, you know, sometimes people be like, yo, Rastafari, you know. But you know, my man's from Jamaica, so it's, you know, it's a pass, you know. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Hold on a moment. Let me check. Let me see. I think my internet was a little slow, but you know, if y'all still here with me, it's all good. Your shoes and other garments must also be clean. If you look ragged, people will not trust you. They will critically say he has no clothing, his shoes are very poor, and it is logical that whatever money he gets hold of, he will use it on himself rather than for the purpose for which he makes its appeal. You know, I don't even like this chapter anymore. No, I'm joking. But like, let's not even talk about it. This is just for you. You know, this is something that, this is like 20th century advice. You know, and the truth is that it still holds up today. You know, I hear that the first thing a woman looks at when she looks at a man is his shoes. You know, I don't really care. Like me, I try not to be too superficial, but the reality is that people are very superficial. You know, you don't have like some days I would go out without a shirt. No, not without a shirt, but without a iron shirt. You know, I'm gonna say some days, right? Anyway, some days I go out with an iron shirt, and yeah, I mean, people kind of judge you on that, but you know, mainly our people, to be honest. You know, our people will judge you on that. You know, there's this sister. You know, some people don't like her, some people do, but there's a sister named Bell Hooks, and she was like, "Look, you don't actually have to do your hair," and she didn't do her hair. Like, she just said, "F it, I'm just gonna walk out naughty." You understand? And yeah, she goes on job interviews and she gets the job, and part of it is people are saying, well, that's because she's Bell Hooks, but another part of it is that white folk don't know what they talk, like they don't know what they're looking at. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really know what they're looking at. I mean maybe in like a professional business setting, possibly, but I don't know. You know, like me personally, I don't even engage with those white folks. So, and I try to, I don't like. I'm just saying, like, this is advice, but if you looking at yourself like, yo, my shoes ain't even, you know, like, you have two options. You could be like, yo, let me fix my shoes, or you could be like, you know, you could be like, oh, I mean, like it's not, that's just old advice. You get what I'm saying? Oh, and alternatively, you could also be like, yo, my shoes are set, so you know, I'm just not talking about it. But let's keep going. Never show your personal poverty to those you lead. Now, this is what I do all the time. I tell y'all I'm broke. Now, I'm not broke. I got money. But all right, never show y'all personal poverty to those you lead. They will never trust you. This does not mean that you should not reveal the poverty of the cause you represent, because the cause is your cause and the people's cause, in which both of you are interested. Never tell lies to those you lead. Sooner or later, they will find you out, and then your career will come to an abrupt end. Now, I wish this were true. I mean, people be lying about me all the time, and they still go. No man ever trust a person a second time. Yo, look, I made this mistake of trusting a person a second time. Like, I do that too much. I give people second chances way too much, and you know, another day I'll tell y'all how that messed me up. But all right, well, I mean, shit, how that keeps messing me up. But anyway. Whom he disbelieves once and has proof of his disbelief. Okay, so no man. Yeah, I'm telling you, like it's like going back with your ex, man. Don't do that. You know, your ex is Don't believe your ex a second. Like Maya Angelou says it excellently. She says, if a person shows you who they are, if a person tells you who they are, believe them the first time. Okay, believe them the first time. Don't let them because they're just gonna tell you over and over again. Like, don't even do that. So let's see. A leader under all circumstances must carry himself with dignity. He must not be a snob, and he must maintain his pride. You know, a leader cannot well afford to mix himself up with anything that is not dignified or self-respected. You know, this is a lot of people be like, "Yo, honey, why you don't associate with some people?" Because I can't associate with you. You know what I'm saying? I can't mix with you. You know what I'm saying? like I can't mix with you. If you got to do something that you know you will be morally and socially ashamed of, someone else knows. Never do it. But if you have to do it, see to it that you are careful that no one else knows. You know? And I mean, this like has to do with, you know, you already know. Like, don't do things like don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say I do anything morally reprehensible, but you know, I'm just saying don't get caught. Okay. Let's keep going. Don't carry your weakness on your face or in your eyes. Somebody will detect it and you will be ruined. If you have personal weakness, try to conquer them and hide them as long as you can until you have conquered them. Otherwise, you will be ruined. That's a main point. Don't carry your weakness on your face. Okay. Every man can conquer his vices by bringing his subconscious will to play upon and against such vices. In everything you do, play the gentleman. Never be a hog. It doesn't pay. You lose a friend every time you play the hog. Keep smiling with the world even though your mother is dead. Okay. Smile with the world and the world will smile back at you. Be vexed with the world and the world will be vexed with you. Nobody is obligated to you to make you happy, so don't carry your sorrow to the world and on your sleeves. Keep them to yourself and get out of them the best way you can. Leaders are not children. They must not therefore act as children. You know, this is something, you know, our people need to understand that. Like, some people will come try to lead you and they're like grown children. You know, they're grown children. And I mean, you know, I'm not going to say that, you know, the childlike ambiance doesn't impact adults, you know. Like I said, I have a son, you know, and he might want to do childlike things, and then, you know, I might, you know, pick up on some stuff. Like, he might be singing a child song, you know, like let's say he watching a kitty. I might, you know, sometimes occasionally I'd be like, kitty, 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 kitty. You know what I'm saying? Like why not? That nigga is fire. You know what I'm saying? But you know, of course, I still maintain myself as an adult most of the time. So I'm not saying that, you know, there's not going to be adults who do childlike things. I'm not saying that I won't ever do childlike things. I'm saying that there are grown people who act like children, and because of that, you know, like we as a people are even put further behind. You know what I'm saying? But again, like, you know, I want you to read this, and if you don't read this, you got the podcast. So you got the podcast. So and definitely link people, share people this podcast. Like I said, click, subscribe, all that junk. But definitely, you know, let's keep going. Leaders must be self-possessed, confident, and feeling self-reliant. When your followers see that self-confidence, they will believe in you and follow you. Always speak out right from your head and from your heart. Speak out right from your head and from your heart. If your heart is not in it, it is a lie. If your head is not in it, it is pure sentiment. You see that? You have to have your heart and your head in what you're doing. Your heart and your head must work together. People observing you can always tell when you are sincere. That is, when you speak from your heart and your head. They can always tell when you are fooling them by looking into your eyes and you cannot stand their gaze. At that time, indeed, you are lying. When your heart and your head is in it, your whole body expresses the truth, and you can hold any man's stare. And this is so fundamental, because what we did was we moved to the internet. You know, we migrated to the internet where you don't see a man's eyes, where a man or a woman can't look you in the eyes, can't compare your gaze. You know, your stare. You know, remember I said gaze like this. Anyway, they can't compare your gaze, your stare. And that's something that's fundamental, because what you do, like when people meet me in person, it's a whole different thing than when they see me online. When they see me online, like a lot of people, they talk crap online, but in person, I don't never see nobody talking crap. You know what I mean? Like, nobody talks crap. We look each other in the eyes. They already know, like when you see me, like you know me in the field. I'm a nationalist. I'm a Pan-African nationalist. You understand? And anybody can tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can tell you that. You might get a false impression by what others may tell you. Okay, there's gonna be people who are going to say things about me, right? A bunch of lies about me, right? But you'll notice. Don't nobody ever say, "Yo, this is not the real deal. This is not the real deal." I mean, they might hide behind a screen and tell you that. They might hide behind a screen and forget who they talking about. But like, you ain't never seen nobody in person be like, "Yo, this dude." Nah, chill with that. Nah, chill. Not even the police would say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even the police try to make up a lie. You know what I'm saying? They just, even the police try to make up a lie, they don't say nothing like that. But that's life. That's life. But let's keep going. A leader must not be extravagant. He must not be flashy in the sense of being over sporty. People will not think you are serious. Always make your followers believe you are serious. You can be serious without being sour. Always think before you speak or act. Don't write or speak just to hear yourself. Speak or write only when you have something to say, and never touch anything by way of leadership that you do not know about, because somebody who knows about it will have a joke at your expense. A leader must always have something to say. Otherwise, he forfeits his leadership, and someone else who has something to say will supplant it. A leader should always make an effort to be known in his community. He must acquaint himself with everything that is happening. He must know the governor of the state or country, the secretary of his state, and his colonial secretary. He must know the mayor of his city and all the members of the legislature. He must know the bishops of his city, the administrative heads of all government departments, all the preachers and doctors and lawyers and prominent businessmen. Do you understand this? You understand this? Like when he's talking about leadership, he's on a whole other level. You understand? He's talking. This is partly why I tell you that you need to repatriate, or if you're in the West, you need to get out of there, because you might not necessarily know the governor, secretary of state, mayor, all that. Like, they might not give you the time of day, but this is Garvey. Like, he's in America, where we were in while they're lynching and all that, right? He's there while they lynching, meeting up with all these prominent, quote unquote white elite, okay, white and black elite. He's doing that. And then today it's like, like, real talk. I mean, even if I say, "Oh yeah, I want to be a leader," like, I don't know the mayor. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the mayor. I don't know the members of the legislature. I mean, I know a couple of members of the legislature, but not really on like no close terms. I don't even like them, to be honest. I don't even like the ones I know. But that's like the reality here. It's like, this is a leader. Like, whatever's being done today, when we think about leaders, they're not on this level. Let's say this: don't be seen with communists too often if you know them. Never take part in their meetings unless you are to make a speech against their principles, and always see that it is known by the public that is your only reason for going among them. Never let them call you comrade for others to hear, because you will be branded a communist and your leadership will be destroyed. Now, he's talking about, I guess, because you remember what year he wrote this. He wrote this like kind of, I guess, during the Cold War, but like, the long-term sentiment is that you do not want to make an enemy of the state. And some of you might be like, "What? But this state's my enemy." Yeah, you don't want to, like, if you're gonna be in the state, you don't really want to make an enemy of it. It's like common sense. Like, the trouble with us is that we lost our common sense. So common sense is, you don't go to Africa, right? You don't go to an African country and then talk shit about the dictator. if there's a dictator there, you don't go there and be like, yo, you suck, you suck, I'm not gonna say no names. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm already smart enough, but you don't say their name and be like, yo, you suck, go blah blah blah, whatever, right? Because like these motherfuckers, But then here you gotta realize that America, like freedom of speech ain't a real thing in America. You know what I'm saying? Like freedom of speech might not be a real thing, on the continent. Like some places, like where there's a dictator, is not a real thing. It's not a real thing in America neither. Like you may think it is, but like you need to wake up to the fact that you black. You know what I'm saying? like it might be a real thing for white folk, but you ain't, like, I'm not saying you can't do certain things, because you could do like pretty much you could do everything that white folk do. I'm not going front, but you understand, like don't get caught off guard. That's I mean, it's subtle, but like I'm saying, don't even, like, you don't have to risk it. If you don't need to, you don't have to risk it. All right? You must seek to know all the people you want to be in your organization. Okay? So this is what he's talking about. He's talking about organization. When you're talking about leadership, you're talking about organization. Okay? A lot of you, like that was my issue when I was younger. I would see these brothers come talk, and then they didn't mention any organization. It's like they're like, yo, we need to organize, black people, blah, blah. But they didn't have an organization for which you could organize it. You see what I'm saying? Like, my thing is this. I mean, partly I should take my own advice, because I used to have the African blood siblings. That's why I had it, right? I mean, it's kind of been inert and inactive for the last, but I probably should take my own advice, or Garvey's advice again. And go about with that again. But the reality is this, like a lot of these black folk, with the exception of the Nation of Islam, real talk, when it comes to conscious, if you want to call them conscious, right? Black folk don't have no organizations. Now, me personally, I'm like, look, I don't want to organize with you unless you read my books, because like I said, unless you got the latest and most correct information, like I don't see what we can engage on. You know what I mean? But like real talk, maybe I'm gonna get an organization. In fact, you join the Discord. You might get invited to this organization. You read the book and all that stuff. We're gonna have a special Discord just for you. All right. So visit them in their homes, their workplaces, and anywhere you can meet them, and always extend to them a glad hand. Always be diplomatic in your approach, right? Their homes. Wait, let me see. Visit them in their homes. So you visit people in their homes. Now, this is something I don't do, obviously. Visit them in their homes, their workplaces, and anywhere you can meet them, and always extend to them a glad hand. Always be diplomatic in your approach. If a Negro is in company with a white man, never talk to him about the UNIA. If he is in company with someone you think is not in sympathy with UNIA, don't talk to him about the UNIA. Wait until he is alone, right? And this is important, obviously. Never say anything to one person who may be in sympathy with the UNIA in the presence of 2 or 3 people, unless you know that the others are also sympathetic. Because when you are gone, the others may try to undo the good relationship. Exactly. So like you approach somebody and you be like, yo, come, like let's say the African blood siblings. You're like, yo, let's come, you go to somebody and like there's a white person there. You're like, hey man, African blood siblings is blah 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 blah. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, blah blah blah. And then you leave and they're like, yo, I'm telling you, man, you heard about Oni? And he's just too handsome. I just went there. I mean, y'all try to hear for something bad. I heard you. Like, what's he gonna say bad about himself? Sick. And let's keep going. But when you meet Negro strangers, you may talk to all of them about the aims of the UNIA and try to win them over. Never divide or create confusion between the different colors in the Negro race. Always try to prove that the standard Negro is the African and that all Negroes should be proud of their black blood without insulting any color within the race. This is very, very important. So I think he's taking his own advice here, because I think originally he was getting on Du Bois about Du Bois being mixed and light and all that, and then it might have backfired. So he's just saying, don't try to do that. Don't try to insult black folk. Like, don't try to create that kind of division. Because it like a lot of times, and this is something that I realized too, that like when you do toxicity, it kind of like like it's like a lose-lose situation. But I'm not to say that it's not fun. But anyway, the idea of the UNIA is to unite into one. I mean, no, it's not that it's a lose-lose situation. Here's what it is: real talk. Real talk. The ancestors have said, for every joy, there's a price to be paid. Okay, so because for every joy there's a price to be paid, that's why you have to like make a calculus. There's a joy in saying, oh, only Negroes, only Africans of the purest or of the darkest, blah blah blah. But there's a price to be paid there. You understand? And Garvey is saying that price isn't worth it. That price is not worth it. Because you're gonna have bickering, you're gonna have fighting, you're gonna have, you're gonna have, and this is gonna be with the sincere and more astute Africans. You understand? That's something that you're gonna have to, realize. Okay, so the idea of the unite is to unite into one race, all the shades of color, and build up a standard race. You see what I'm saying? Build up a standard race. You should discourage intermarriage between white and black, and blacks and other races. You should tell the people that it is an honor to be black, and that nothing is wrong with the black skin, but bad conditions. Tell them that a well-kept black woman or black man is as good as a well-kept white man or woman. Now, I would say that better, but this is still good what he's saying. Never allow your followers to have their children play with white dolls, because they will grow up to like white children, and they will have them. You understand? Like I said, at one point I went to this sister's house, and I just sat in her, like, where she grew up, and all over her, it was like her mother's house, all over her mother's house, she had like white art, white dolls and all that stuff. And of course, this was a sister that messed with a white man, like married a white man one day. So it's like, this is something that you don't want to do. Now, of course, I'm gonna be honest with you. All right. Now, I don't have no freaking white dolls, no. But when you talk about, like, when you modernize the situation, you got to realize that there is like television or YouTube and all that stuff, and they have like they might not have had television and YouTube back when he was talking about this. I'm not 100% sure, but what you're going to have is white folk, like the image of white people all over the media. All over the media that and so unless you're like on top of it, which is easy, like some sisters be on top of their kids, like you ain't gonna see nothing white. You know what I'm saying? But it's more difficult than you think, because like my for instance, my boy, he's mad smart. So what he does is he's like on YouTube, and then he would just click, change, and then like before you know it, you walk into the room, and it's like he don't know what he's looking at per se. When he clicking, because he knows how to click, he knows how to change the program, and then there's like the related on the side. So so you might put on a Keely, and it'll be like Swahili and all that, but then he click, and suddenly he's on like some Russian counting video. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even like you can't even read it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're looking at. So it's just like in that sense, it's difficult. Now you could be like, hey, I'll just monitor him, I'll just stay over him. Yeah, okay. I mean, like I said, like I'm a brother. Like a woman could probably do that easy. Like women can do that because they like, oh, children are the center. But like I'm a man, so I'm just like, yeah, children are nice. You know what I'm saying? Like children are good. Anyway, let me see what's up in the comment section. Nobody in the comment section. It's all good. So for Wanda, how you doing, Wanda? Alright, discourage the Negroes from having white pictures in their homes, because those pictures will inspire them to become white in their ideas. This is like Jesus, that Jesus image, Inspire them to have pictures of Negroes who have achieved greatness in their home. So that's something that you need to understand. Like get your pictures of get your pictures of Africans. Now he says Negroes all the time. When I edit and I transplant his work into my work, I don't use the word Negro, obviously, but it is, like they say, it is what it is. Tell Negro parents that they must teach their children Negro history, Negro pride, and self-respect in their homes to counteract the elementary and high school education they get that holds up the superiority of the white people, right? Of the white race. This is important. Like when you get out of the West, see, this is like particular to the West. When you get out of the West, or when you get out of like Western nations, which are pretty universal, but when you get out of this Western situation, like when you implement what I in the Book of Power, I tell you, look, build your own damn schools, build your own universities, okay? When you do that, you don't have to worry about like teaching your own children kind of thing, self-respect and in the home to counteract, because you're not gonna have the elementary and high school education that holds white folks superior. Like the only way you're gonna do this is if you don't do it for yourself. So that's why I said, get the latest and greatest in my literature, because the reality is that I want to work together, because I have a curriculum in there. We have a curriculum. We can work out a curriculum. We can work out land and buildings and all that, but we have to come together and do that, because this right here, this is good. This is nice in so much as like you have to counteract, but you don't have to counteract if you just do the work that you need to get done. All right. So let's let the people know that God is not white, nor is he black, but God is a spirit and universal intelligence. Now I don't use the word God. I use like Amon or natural, but because I'm reading it like straight up, universal intelligence of which each and every one is a part. Actually, matter of fact, I don't even want to use that. I wish I could edit it out. Let people know that the natural is black though. So I'm saying the natural is spirit and universal intelligence of which each and every one is a part. All of us are a part of that intelligence. No man can have the full intelligence of the natural, all right? Only partial intelligence. Therefore, no man can be a nature, right? Neither the white man nor the black man is nature. They are particles of nature. Let the people know that in them and in themselves only is the power to rise. Let them know that the natural does not go out of their way. You don't want to say his, because it's not even one. And even if you talk about Amon, there's Amonet, or Amon, like there's the male-female balance, because that's the thing with this religious stuff. This God concept is like a he concept, So like even here you say, oh, he's not a white or black, but it's a man. You know what I mean? Like nah, like the reality is there's a gender balance, and that's something that we like when we talk about modernizing and updating information of the past. Like that's what we should bring to. Like we have to bring inside this mentality that that the highest being in like the highest thing, the highest being on the planet, if you will, it's not gonna just be a man, 100% of the time. You know what I mean? Even when I say Amon, like when I say Amon, it's not to say like the masculine. It's more like Amon is like almost like shorthand for the duality. Like almost shorthand for the duality. It's like sometimes it transcends what we know as gender, if you say, but that's a little bit on the other side. So let them know that does not go, because some people would just say I'm in that, or a man I'm in that, but I don't. I mean I reviewed so this is one of the treats in the Book of Power, to be honest, right? And it's like an original translation of what Taharka said, right? Now Taharka is like one of the greatest, like probably the greatest African that ever lived, right? And so when you look at what like the original literature, like the original transcription, it says, like the transcription has IMN, so that's why I don't say the Amanet thing, because like in the original transcription it would just be IMN, which could be probably like Amen, which sounds kind of more like amen, like what we say at the end of or what people say at the end of the Christian stuff. But that's why I don't say that amen, amen, because it, like, if you look at the original transcription, it looks like Taharka was saying it, just amen, amen. All right, but anyway, let's keep going. Let them know that aman does not go out of, let's say, their way to give people positions or jobs or to give them good conditions such as they desire. They must do that for themselves out of the fullness of nature that Aman has created for them. Aman does not build cities, towns, nations, homes, or factories. Men and women build them, and all those who want them must work for themselves and pray to Aman to give them the strength to do it. So I'm going to, like I told you already, we're going to go to an ad. And hopefully, look, you get this book. So, get this book. Give me some good reviews, and let's move on from there. All right. There you go, family.
Okay, so I know books. All right. So let me tell you about a book. Let's go. All right. Check it. So the goal and objective is to be selective, electing for knowledge with the black directive, checking sources, heritage, and legacies, with the brilliance to defeat our nemesis. The book of power, so aptly named, esteemed and famed for informing the brain, and doing the same as the ancestors before us. Sankofa, afterlife chorus, wisdom is the key against dangers. Either aim the leaders or lead the changes. We are due in Africa with no strangers. Do you hear us? Okay, hold on. We can't continue to beat the second fiddle. African power is the end of the fiddle. To build a nation, the likes which never existed. The motto heretofore, we persisted. Better, we resisted. Best, we building. We'll raise the roof and break through the ceiling. Peeling away the change we were given to stop just surviving, start thriving and living. Africa's about to host superpowers. China and US back up the top hours. No one can be free without freeing themselves. But freedom is shown and owned on bookshelves. The book of power, a key for liberation. There's no domination where there's education, because ignorance is man's main weakness. All of exploited if we don't teach this. Then the pages of sages, king and queen, Akapong, Delaney, Dessalines, Yere, Garvey, and Zinga, and Cooks. 500 pages surpassing most books. The task is told to bring up a continent. You will hold the tone for the confident. Have some pride and push forward your chest. Your leaders are reading one of the best. The book has science, covers violence, self-reliance, and does away with silence. The time has come for the work to get done and build up a land that is second to none. We'll organize, technologize, strategize a new Africa before our eyes, and blackness will be the complexion we see. Anytime we envision what it means to be free. So come join minds, read what is written. Here be solutions, no longer hidden. Nothing works in theory, all that works, works and works. So it's time to put ourselves first. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors. Change the leaders and lead the changes. Book of Power.
Yeah.
So the Book of Power can be purchased on Amazon. Just click on the link below.
Tulinde.
Tap. Tulinde ma'at, tushinde is fat. Tulinde ma'at, tushinde is fat. Tulinde ma'at, tushinde is fat.
Hotep.
Hotep.
Alright. I tell you, that gives you some energy. I'm a little bit low on the voice because, like I said, I got my boy in the next room. I think he's still sleeping, He goes to bed late. I don't know why. So it's 11 a.m. So I'm just like not trying to be, too loud. But anyway, let's go. Special notes on intermarriage and race purity. So for a rich Negro to marry a poor white is an unpardonable crime and sin, because it simply means the transference of the wealth of the race to another, and the ultimate loss of the wealth to the race. It is logically evident that if the Negro is rich, he gained all or most of his wealth from his race. Therefore, to ignore the opposite sex of his race and intermarry with another race is to commit a crime or sin for which he should never be pardoned by his race. Now, it almost sounds like he's talking about black men and white women, because he says he all the time. But, but it might be that he was, okay? But also you have to realize that this was in the 20th century, the earlier 20th century. So, it could be that was the case, that, men were like the primary, not really in our community, but really in our community. You know what I mean? Like it's more of an unfortunate circumstance if the man's not the primary breadwinner. So he's talking about like with a rich Negro. I mean, yeah, you had Madam C.J. Walker. What? You know. All right, let's see. Teach the people to abhor such Negroes. So don't like people who marry outside the race. Have nothing to do with them so long as they continue in that relationship. Shoot, I got a boy, man. I got a friend who like he's shit. Like Garvey done said it. They have nothing to do with this motherfucker, you know? Like I don't even engage the real talk. Like I engage him a little bit, but like not on nothing, you know. This must be done diplomatically, not to the hearing of the white race. Yo, and I tell you though, real talk. So this dude that I know who I don't know what he doing with this white woman, but he be telling her like he was like, yo, she wants to meet you, you know, because I tell her that I have trouble being in this relationship because you know people like you know, who tell me that it's not right, and so she wants to meet you so she can show you that she's a good person. And you're like, the fuck, man, I don't want to meet this motherfucker. Like I don't even want to meet you, my dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, let's keep going. For safety, let the advice take the form of a whisper campaign. Don't say it from the platform. Whisper it right through the neighborhood and never stop until the burden of your campaign is felt by the individual, so as to teach them a good lesson that others may not do the same thing with impunity. You know? So yeah, basically, you know, you see a dude with a white woman, you know, or you see somebody with a white person, just like, you know, like the thing with y'all is that y'all be confronting people, you know? Like you see somebody come out, I'm in a white blah blah blah. You know, you be like, hey, the problem with you is you're white. Like, what are you doing? Just be like, yo, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like trying to engage them and like getting a bigger narrative, and then you got the mixed people be like, "Hey, well, what's wrong with the white person?" You know, like instead of doing all that, just be like, you know what? Like you hear that the person is with a white person, just say, forget it, man. You know, for a Negro man to marry someone who does not look like his mother or is not a member of his race is to insult his mother, nature, and Amun, who made his father. Okay? The best tribute a race can pay to nature and Amun is to preserve its species. When it does otherwise, it is a rebellion. Don't be in rebellion against Amun, nature, or your parents that you know of. They came before you and should have known better. Insist on a campaign of race purity, that is, doing everything moral and social within the race. Close ranks against all other races. It is natural that it is a disgrace to mix your race with other races. To split up the race is unwholesome and does not tend to morally dignify the race. It'll be a beautiful thing when we have a standard Negro race. Let's keep going. In preaching race purity, be very careful because it is a delicate subject. Most of the people are ignorant of this idealism. You must never put color within the race against color. You must never insult any color within the race. Whatever has happened in the past was without our consent and truly because slavery and the wicked damnation of the white man imposed upon us moral behavior that we could not restrain. Now that we know better, it is for us to adjust these things within our own race. So this is something that's really important. Like again, like I actually have a conversation with certain African individuals, and they're more like, yo, like purity, like, oh man, these people got white blood in them. Like a lot of people, have mixed blood in them. You understand? Like, and what that entails would be white blood as well. And of course I'm not gonna say I'm not a victim of that myself. You understand? Like we're not just victims of slavery, we're victims of mass confusion. We're victims of genocide. We're victims of impotence. So we'll have ancestors, like some of us will have male ancestors who mess with white women and had children. And like why we didn't always have race pride. We didn't always have race separation. We didn't always have segregation. And because of that, that affects and impacts us. So I personally don't go into this colorism or this, Like I have a friend who goes into texturism kind of thing. You know, I don't personally go into it only because I understand that particularly in the diaspora, you're going to have outliers. You're going to have differences. You're going to have like this is the reality that you, it's like we're not gonna be a pure people that could be held to the pure standard. And I mean, of course you want a standard, of course you want that, but at some point you have to realize that you know it's there's nothing in putting color against another color. Like we all know what the goal is. The goal is to have that nice black you want to have that nice black color. Okay, you want to have that nice black color, and every one of us can have descendants that look like that. But we have to, but it has to be understood that not every one of us will have ancestors or predecessors that look like that. And because not all of us have predecessors, like all of our predecessors look like that, because not all of our predecessors look like that, we don't look like that. And that's like, for me, that's fine. Like Garvey says, that happened in the past without our consent. What we're looking to do now is to consent toward our future. Okay? And of course, like I said, I outlined this science in the Book of Power. So I outlined the science of how like, realistically speaking, if you mess with, like, even if you're not pure, if you go for purity, you can purify your people. You understand? Genetically. And even if you don't want to do that, it's all good and fine. If we build the African community, right? Or if you move and repatriate to or if you just build a stellar African community, the reality is that is what's going to happen for you anyway. But if you don't build a powerful African community, even those who think they're pure, they'll not be able to maintain that purity for long. Okay? Because the reality is that other people, stronger people, are going to come into their land and take from them. That, you know what I'm saying? Like when China comes and moves 100 million people into Africa, 200 million people into Africa, 300, you understand? And if they say, oh, let's kill some of these African people, let's get their women, let's have 16 children, let's have, when they do that, the erosion of purity is going to take hold. So you have to focus on not color against color, but power. And that's why I write this book. Like, you want to focus on power. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't, like, everything can be solved with power. Okay? But like he says, now that we know better, it is for us to adjust these things within our race. So he says, teach the people to respect all shades of their own race, and never to have prejudice against anyone because he is black, brown, yellow, or any shade that whites claim is not white. At the end of the day, you're against these people. Like, these people are what erodes the integrity of these people. Okay? These people make all these other shades, right? And what you want to do is you want to make it so that these people are more powerful than these people. That these people are more numerical than these people and these people and these people, right? And when these people are more numerical than these people, who are the same people, they're all the same people, right? But these people go more to this. You understand? So this is our people. It's just that, unfortunately, these people had a say on, like, they did things to these people, okay, and because they did things to these people, this is what resulted, right? And instead of saying, oh, I don't like these, right, for whatever reason, right, and being, and casting these away does nothing. You know, it does nothing. It like these are harmless in the grand scheme of things. You know, in the grand scheme of things, this is where the harm is, because this can, as long as this is more powerful than this will go away. This will disappear. You understand? If you want this to maintain, to stay in power, or you want this to come through, then you need to fight this, not these. Okay? Like it's not complicated. Look at that. Just double clicks. Just double clicks. All right. So never allow any other race to preside over your affairs. If they come as visitors, they must conduct themselves as visitors. They must never have executive control over you and your affairs, because they will always say and do things to suit themselves and that are against your interests, even though they profess the greatest amount of friendship. If they swear on on their book, you understand, their holy book, don't believe them. If they swear in their God, you know, which is like nobody, nothing, don't believe them. You know, just don't believe whites. Accept their friendship for all it's worth to you and nothing more. Their interests as a race can never be yours, whether they be Europeans, Asiatics, Jews, or whatever. Speaking of which, never trust a Jew. Don't let him know that, though. You understand? Like, some of y'all just be out loud. Yo, man, you Jews. Just don't trust him. All right? He is playing the odds against you all the time. He plays with loaded dice. His cards are marked. You can never win against him. Make this secret whispering propaganda in every community when you go into a Negro home. Whisper all the time that the Jew is bad. Flatter him as he flatters you and robs you. Never give him a square deal, because he is never going to give you one. Tell him how much you love his people and how kind and nice his people are. Get all you can from him and give him nothing back except good words and pleasant smiles. This is his policy. The policy of the Jew is, if he sees a Gentile dying on the pathway and a penny covers his eyes as a hope for recovery, he will take it off and let him die. Dang. He will not do this to a Jew. And you know, this is something that you know. Like I said, I grew up around them. They were telling me, hey, can you turn on my oven? Because it's Sabbath and I can't do no work. And it's like, the fuck? Like, so you think there's something wrong with turning on the oven? But, you know, I don't give a shit. All right, you have your answer to this. Treat him similarly. Always try to get something from the Jew, because he has always robbed you and your fathers, in that he believes he is the chosen of God. And look, white people believe this too. Like, I have this white neighbor who was like, "Oh, the Jews, they're the chosen of God." And I'm like, what? That's what the propaganda is about? Because somebody was asking me before. They were like, "Okay, so what's the point of the Bible? What kind of propaganda is in the Bible?" And it's like, I totally forgot about that chosen shit. All right, and as such, all other men must pay tribute to him. This is false and fictitious. It is Jewish propaganda. Ignore it and let him pay tribute to you, if tribute must be paid. And that's it, man. Like, you know, somebody was actually telling me, and this is the end of the chapter, somebody was telling me that, you know, when he has a private conversation with the Jews, he had a private conversation with a Jew, and he's like, they would tell him, like, in private, that, yeah, they know that black folk are the original Jews, or the original, you know, all that stuff. But because of our desperate condition, it's like, you can't possibly in good faith, you know, articulate that. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, those are the chosen people, and you know, they're all, you know, like on the corner, you know, on the corner rolling dice or something. Like, you can't, you know. But I mean, I don't believe him so much, but that's a conversation that he had, you know. So I'm just sharing with you. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. Please check out this book, but also check out my book, The Book of Power. I hope you like this presentation. If you don't like this presentation, you can let me know, or you could not let me know. It's all good, because some people like it. I like it. You know, I want to show my son this, you know, when I'm finished with it. You know, well, not when I'm finished. I can just play it to him. But yeah, if you like this presentation, let me know. And you know, please leave a comment. Please subscribe. Please, you know, get my books, review them. You know, I'm telling you, I really like the Book of Power a lot. So if you can check that out, you know, I'll be much obliged. But otherwise, you know, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you on the next one. as we keep going through Message to the People. All right. Well, thank you, family, and hotel. Let me just write down peace.